I picked up photography after things have gone digital, so understanding film was daunting. It also didn't help that some of the most sought after film stocks are either no longer in production or very inaccessible. I haven't shot much film at all, and honestly, I don't know film that well, so being able to recreate these film looks with confidence in my digital photos is something I've really been wanting to be capable of. Every shot I've just shown you, I shot using a digital camera. Some were taken on my iPhone, and the film emulations were applied using FilmPack 8 from DxO Labs. FilmPack is a bit of a hack for someone who's not familiar with the hundreds of film stocks in existence, because in addition to just applying the look of a film stock to your image, it also gives you context as to what exactly it is you just chose to adopt. For example, I came across a thumbnail in the preset panel which looks unnaturally pinkish, and without context I would have dismissed it right away, but I clicked on it and learned it's Kodak EIR, which was originally an infrared sensitive film that became popular to shoot with precisely for this surreal rendering of colors. For most of the legacy films, you'll get a rundown on the characteristics of the film stock, why it was sought after, and use cases the film stock would typically be used for. Then there's also helpful things like who made it, what type of film it is, when it was first introduced, and if it's still available today. So it's filling you in as you're doing your creative editing. But here's where I think the real money is. DxO's not just eyeballing how a particular film stock should look like. This is referencing official documentation. They profile each film by taking a series of calibrated test shots, then send them to be developed by the world's most reputable processing labs, which they did name. Then they perform lab-grade measurements of the response curve, grain structure, and tonal behavior. So when you apply a film look in FilmPack 8, it's not a color filter, but it's a scientific recreation of how film actually responds to light. Now, in many cases, you can get perfectly great results just from applying a look in one click, but there's also an insane degree of customization for you to dial in your look. There's everything you expect and then some, like micro contrast adjustments, luminance masking, and if you're working with raw files, it can automatically apply optical profile corrections. There's also something you can experiment with only in the world of digital. You can mix and match the color and tonal rendering of one film stock with the grain structure of another film stock. For example, here I can apply the look of Fuji's famously discontinued and now very expensive Pro 400H film, but change only the grain to that of a black and white film stock, say Neopan 1600. So you're sort of cherry picking the best suiting aspects of each film stock to your specific shot. There's also a very human side to this otherwise quite technical software for film emulation, because there's a pretty unique feature in FilmPack 8 called Time Warp, which can really be quite helpful from an inspirational standpoint. Time Warp pulls up your photo against a timeline which you can scroll along, and each one of these steps represents a defining piece of work or visual style associated with that time period. If you come across something that might work, you can apply it to your image, and even if it might not be precisely what you're going for, you can still use that as a starting point to tweak from. Of course, this is all accessible within the standalone FilmPack 8 app, but a very good piece of news is FilmPack 8 is also available as a Photoshop plugin. Once you install it, you'll be able to browse and apply all presets, including custom presets you've created right here within Photoshop. Though, unlike Photoshop, the license for FilmPack 8 is perpetual, so one of these might outlive the other, but I digress. If you want greater control over your look from the plugin, it can also do an automatic round trip, and a tip is to first convert your image layer to a smart object, so the look gets applied as a smart filter. Then all you have to do is hit open on the FilmPack 8 panel, which will fire up the full FilmPack app, and then you can pick your film and dial in your look. There's also a bunch of effects worth exploring in FilmPack, like textures and light leaks, and even those have a great degree of control for the user to take advantage of, including positions and even the ability to regenerate the appearance of the effect. Once you're happy, just close the window, hit save, and the effect is now parked under a smart filter, which you can toggle on and off. There is currently a total of 153 renderings in FilmPack 8's library at your disposal. There are some really interesting new additions in there. For example, Harmon Phoenix 200, which is a very bold color film, but this is actually a relatively new film stock which got introduced in real life just a few years ago, and it's already in the FilmPack 8 library, so it's quite a current selection. If you're into street photos at night, CineStill 800T is a must-try. It's a tungsten-balanced film stock, so you're gonna get that cool cinematic mood, and I'm quite a fan of the gritty grain you get with this one. You'll even find Fuji's Instax film under the slides film category. In addition to these legacy films, the catalog also offers some design deluxe, which aren't direct emulations of film stocks, but can also be a lot of fun. FilmPack 8 is not a subscription. It's offered as a one-time, buy it once, own it forever purchase. And if you're a new DxO customer, you can use my discount code ZY15 for a 15% discount on any product from the DxO shop. As usual, I'll put links down below if you're interested, and I'll be seeing you around.